Welcome back to the Church Resource, where we talk about all the best resources for
All
churches,
of them.
leaders, and lay people. I'm Lucas Pinckard. I'm here with Dr. Chris Respass. What's up, man?
What's up, man? I'm so happy to see you, brother.
You're just happy because you get an hour off to come over here and screw off
They
in
come and play.
podcast studio. That's it. That's it. So today I want to talk a little bit about how the pastor takes care of themselves. Now, we talked last week about, sabbaticals or prolonged vacations, stacking those vacation days up if you get the opportunity to, or definitely like taking your vacation time if you can. I say if you can, making your vacation time a priority to take, right? I think maybe we do an episode on like what to do if you're in a position where you feel like you can't get things covered, because part of the strategic relationship between churches that we have, whether it's with county associations or whatever, is to partner with other churches who have the ability to do some pulpit supplies and things like that, right? If you can't, so we'll table that for another time. But today I want to talk about how important it is for us as ministers to take care of ourselves from a physical and health perspective. Now, you and I are no stranger to health issues,
Right.
I've had an ACL rupture. I've had a double mastectomy. We've had a couple, I personally have had a couple of pretty significant battles with some illnesses that like had me on the cusp of hospitalization, but like definitely landed me in the ER a few times.
Yeah.
And we have both tried to, in the last couple of years, really make a concerted effort to take better care of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I feel though, and I'll start this out by using the joke that I hear most often, is how do you know when your pastor's on the level?
How?
If he's got a bubble in the middle. Hey-o! Right? Like, but that has become sort of an accepted thing. And now while some people have kind of tongue-in-cheek pointed out, they're like, oh, pastors are sins of gluttony and blah, blah, blah. That there may be something to that, but more often than not, that really just comes from stress.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because our stress levels as pastors are so high that it doesn't matter if we took in 1,000 calories or 4,000 calories. Our body's not burning anything.
That's right.
Because it is doing its best to hang on to everything, because it doesn't know when we're going to have that big adrenaline dump because, somebody's in the hospital and now we got to go make that break, or we're dealing with all of this other stress and things like that. But over the last couple of years, we've really tried hard to not just like take our nutrition and stuff into consideration, but to take a little bit better care of ourselves. What, as you coach young pastors, right? How do you help them find the balance of doing this? Because it's not an overnight thing, and sometimes it's difficult to justify.
Hey, listen, brother, I am on the battlefield as it relates to that issue.
Yeah.
You mentioned the things. Man, I've had my gallbladder removed, fatty liver stuff down, balancing blood pressure and cholesterol and bone-on-bone.
Yeah.
Issues with arthritis, just a lot of stuff, man. And out of all of those things, the stress is the one thing that I blew off. Right.
Yeah.
I literally blew it off. Yeah, I'm stressed, but not really understanding the impact that it has on you physically.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so in talking with young preachers and really trying to assess for myself is, man, we have to prioritize ourselves, right? And what really helped me to understand how significant it is, it was to think about what they tell us every time we get on the plane, right? In case of a loss of cabin pressure, put this mask on. If you're traveling with a child or something, put yours on what? First.
Yep. Because you're going to run out of oxygen trying to get theirs on, because you're going to have to fight them and, dealing with a wriggly little 2-year-old or whatever,
exactly,
right? Yeah.
Exactly. And so we think that because we have the indwelling Holy Spirit, that we have this endless supply of physical strength.
Right.
Right. And so we neglect ourselves. We run into every emotional, spiritual fire there is, every situation. And if we don't take care of ourselves, we're going to find ourselves unable to do that, right?
Yeah.
Even though we would own the responsibility to be that kind of pastor that's actively, fulfilling their responsibilities. We got to take care of ourselves. And so I would tell them, man, you got to eat, right? I would tell them to do all the stuff that I don't do.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
I would say, there have been periods where we have really excelled at that, and then other areas where we haven't. And I think it's important to for lack of a better way to put it, like to just let people know that this is as much of a journey as anything else
It's
is
a
in
journey,
life.
brother.
Right?
It's not a sprint for sure.
No, and it is easy. And so here's the struggle. When we start to talk about these things, the very first thing that happens is that people will comment on our appearances or any of those things in order to prove, disprove, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Currently, I got a friend, Ethan Bernard. He's got a pretty big, I think he just hit like close to 400,000 followers on Instagram and all this stuff. Ethan's a super cool kid, 6'8".
Oh my goodness.
660 pounds is what he started off this year as. Now at 6'8", he actually carries that weight pretty as well as anybody could, right? And now he's down into the 480s.
Okay.
So it's September now. He started this kind of weight loss journey in January. And he's lost a couple 100 pounds almost, right?
Right.
But even though he's made so much progress, people are still like, "Oh, you're not doing stuff right. You're not doing this, that."
Right.
It's like, bro's lost 200 pounds,
Exactly.
right? And they're like, "Oh, you need to shoot for 180." He's 6'8".
Yes.
I'm a 5'8", and I'm 180,
Yes.
right? And I feel pretty healthy at this weight. He gets to 180, he's gonna look like
He toting that package.
right? Like, what the heck is going on, right?
That's
So it's like it's not realistic
Yeah.
for that. And so there's that first kind of thing where you have to, whether you're putting yourself out there on the internet or whether or not you're just beginning this journey, is you're gonna have to put aside what
right.
everyone else thinks or suggests
Sure.
as far as these things go, because it is going to be a journey, man. And if you're
right.
looking at the scale or you're looking at the mirror, any of those things, those fluctuations up and down are going to happen.
That's right.
And if you are so tied to that number or your physique or whatever else, or from, the enemy or other people kind of getting in your head of like, hey, well, you said you've been working out, but I'm not seeing the progress, right? Then you're not going to end up in that spot.
That's right.
Right. So, and man, this is man.
It's a hard
thing to talk about.
Listen, so I'm pleasantly plump, right? I like to take.
I'm pleased.
I like to take. I take all my pictures from the shoulders up.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it.
And so people see me, they be like, "Oh, first thing you think is, you probably overeat." Mm-hmm. Well, I don't eat. I have skipped meals my entire life, right? And so my issue is not eating. It's not eating. Yeah. I mean, isn't that I overeat? Is that I don't eat, right? So my metabolism is asleep. Oh, well, then you ought to eat. Well, yeah, that's easier said than done sometimes,
right?
Either because you're accustomed to not eating, or you're in a fast-paced career. I practice law, and now in the ministry. This pace where it seems like the work can be demanding, and so you don't make time to eat,
right?
Or your personality may be such that thinking about eating or taking care of yourself is just not high on the list. Right, I'd rather preach than eat, or I'd rather do my job than eat, right, or whatever.
Or you just get into a groove, and it's like, oh, you know what? I missed breakfast and lunch, and now I'm about to go home. I'm starting to get hungry, but I don't want to eat anything because I know dinner's at 5 or whatever. Right, and you justify all these other things.
Exactly, man. And so you have to shut out all of the noise. Because listening to every TikTok video about a supplement and every other, come on, Doc. You'll have a cabinet full of stuff, and you'll be sick because that stuff will have some kind of interaction, like whatever. So I'm with you 100%, man. You got to block out the noise, understand your body is your body, and take it one step at a time, but realize you got to do something. Yeah. Right. And I think, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, people talk about like, oh, what is the most effective thing? And, having come from bodybuilding and then into powerlifting and then into strongman and then jiu-jitsu and like all of these different things where like we're constantly up and down or making weight or trying to, cut to the lowest body fat percentage possible. And then, the old school thinking was, you gotta bulk up. You gotta do these massive size gains in order to be able to rebuild muscle, which now, with the research and stuff that's coming out, there's a lot of guys that took years off of their lives because they decided to balloon up, even though they look quote unquote healthy at different parts. That, when talking to nutrition coaches that we work with or personal trainers or any of these things within the fitness industry, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the amount of information and things that are out there. And this is certainly not a health and fitness podcast by any stretch of the imagination. But the thing that is going to be most effective for you is going to be the one that you can stick with. Right. And so if that is, if it's one of those things where like an exclusionary diet is going to be really difficult for you, where you're like, oh, you know what, I got to cut all my carbs out. And that like, hey, I'm only going to be able to do this for like 60 days, then that's not going to be the best fit. Like you'll lose it and you'll gain it back.
That's right.
Also the looking at something and you're like, hey, can I do this? And you find out, a few weeks into it, hey, this is not my jam, that like this isn't working. Don't try to force yourself to do it. And don't go looking to the fads. Like go figure out, hey, what actually does fit my lifestyle when it comes to the nutrition part of it, but also the exercise part.
Right.
Not everybody. One of my favorite quotes from Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was after one of his Olympia wins, and he's being interviewed by a reporter, and the reporter's like, "What do you say to people that say they never want to look like you?" And he goes, "I would just tell them they never will." Right? Because like it doesn't happen by accident. Right. Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't wake up and all of a sudden become Arnold Schwarzenegger. Right. Neither did Ronnie Coleman or any of these other guys.
Right.
That the way that they became what they are was really, really intentional. And so whether you're a male or a female and you're like, oh, I don't want to be muscle bound or I don't want to have big muscles or whatever, like it's not going to happen by accident.
Right.
You've got to be intentional about your workouts and those kinds of things. So put aside that idea that we've somehow gotten onto and realize that like exercise in general is healthy.
That's right.
Resistance exercising in general is healthy. You don't have to exercise in order to have big muscles, but exercising where you're feeling resistance or something's difficult for you, that actually helps your overall health.
Right.
Maybe you do work with a personal trainer and a nutrition coach to kind of get you on a path in order to get you started, or maybe it's something you do long term. But either way, taking those things seriously will help with not just longevity in ministry, but longevity in life, because it does help with stress management. It helps with all of those things.
That's right. Man, can I add, let me add something.
Yeah,
this is a practical thing, especially if you're in the ministry. One of the things that helped me was to tell people who cared about me at the church that I'm trying to eat cleaner.
Yeah.
So stop bringing me chocolate chip cookies.
100%.
Because I love them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We got a guy in our congregation who makes ice cream. He's like, when I retire, I want to make gourmet ice cream. He could do it.
See,
I would be his top customer.
See,
there's just no two ways about it.
And it's okay to eat chocolate chip cookies.
Right.
It's okay to eat ice cream. But if you're trying to work a plan, my challenge was people who love me would just bring me stuff. Not that I would ask for it. Somebody would say, "Hey, I made a sakatumi cake or something," right?
That's what I'm talking about.
Look at here.
Yeah.
And they would just bring it. And what are you going to do? Throw it in the garbage? No. Right?
It's a gift from the Lord.
It's a gift from the Lord. Right? You share it with others after you take your hunk out.
That's
right?
exactly right. Yeah.
But no, you say, hey, I'm trying to clean things up. And there are little things that we can do in the ministry. Let people know. We serve a small breakfast in between our services. And man, it had gotten to the place where it was all kind of stuff coming in there. It was like, hey, dial this stuff back. Like we need some fruit in here, we need some granola or whatever.
Right.
And so that's one
Not
of the.
everybody needs bacon cinnamon rolls.
Thank you. Even though every now and again,
yeah, for sure,
break us off.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing that you mentioned. Talking to some people that you trust about it is good, not just for the help in making sure that your food choices are good, but also in like accountability.
Yeah.
Right. and allowing those little check-ins of like, hey man, how you doing? You sticking to this? Not, there's a period of time where we were working out together where, that was something that we were aligned with and things. But even as our schedules have diverged, that's something that we're still, keeping up with each other and the things that we're doing.
That's right.
One of the things that I often get asked is, should I start my nutrition plan in tandem with a fast?
Oh.
And I 100% of the time nearly say no.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and here's why, like, even if the reason that you're doing things to take better care of yourself is to be God honoring and like honoring your temple of that, honoring, the Lord's temple and that sort of thing, that if your purpose in doing, let's say a 3-day fast, because a 3-day fast is enough to, kind of flush your system out and get you ready for whatever you enter into a couple of different like fat burning areas. You can get into ketosis in 3 days and a few other things that if you guys know what all that stuff is, great. If you don't, Google it. That you can get there in 72 hours.
Okay.
And so there's some people who are like, you know what, I'm going to start this off with a 3-day fast. If the purpose of you doing the fast is weight loss before it is seeking the Lord, then don't call it one when it's not.
Right, exactly.
And I, I've told them, hey, listen, if you want to do a 3-day fast or 4-day fast or whatever in order to try to jumpstart things for your nutrition plan, like that's great. But don't conflate this idea that like I'm fasting for the Lord when really it's fasting for this other. Because at the end of the day, that's disingenuous.
That's right.
Right. So
yeah, I'm with you on it.
Yeah. So the majority of the time, like when people ask, I don't recommend it. And there have been a few occasions where they're like, I really feel like the Lord is wanting me to do this. And so I'm going to start out in this way to make sure that that's the case. And, we'll be using those meal times to go seek his face on this to figure out exactly what, okay, if that's your deal, then that's cool. But if it's like, no, I want to get healthier, I'm going to start off with this, and I might as well like couple it with the other. It's not going to work.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. I think it is disingenuous because in your heart what you're really doing.
100%.
Right. I'm just going to skip these meals or I'm going to limit what I'm eating and, let me rubber stamp God on top of that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does, and it does make you seem a little bit more holy.
It does.
Whenever you're trying to get that, no, I'm fasting for Jesus, baby.
The Lord's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that.
And those are tough things. They're tough conversations to have, and one of the most difficult conversations to have is with somebody that you care about when it comes to encouraging them to have a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah, let me tell you a story about this. So
Come on, baby.
This was when I was a youth pastor. I had a guy, I didn't know him from a can of paint, to be honest with you. We went to church together, and we had exchanged numbers or whatever. And he called me one day. This was long before texting, right? So he called me. He said, "Man, I'm concerned about your health." And I'm looking at the phone like, are you kidding me right now? And he said, God's hand is on you. I believe in your ministry, and I know just how things are going, and from just kind of watching you move, I'm concerned about it, and I just want to encourage you, to make that change, whatever it was, and. Everything within me wanted to just hang up, and we became very close friends, right? And it's a difficult conversation to have with somebody that you care about. It's a difficult conversation to be on the receiving end of it because, typically, the areas in your life where you need to give more attention. And so when that happens, be gracious. Be gracious if you're the one trying to communicate it. Certainly be spirit-led, right? There's enough folks that always seem to have something to say about you.
Bro.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So if it's you versus the spirit, then you just take it to prayer, right? But if the spirit of God is leading you, then be gracious in it. And then be gracious if you're the one receiving it, because it is difficult, and they mean well.
Yeah.
They mean well.
And it's hard when somebody gets on, especially with these what are they called? Multi-level marketing
Oh,
organizations,
yeah.
right? Because they're not pyramid schemes anymore. They're multi-level marketing
Mm-hmm.
doofuses. But the truth is that, like, I know as soon as one of my friends gets involved in one of those, I'll see the first post, and then I'm like, I'm about to get a message. Like 100% of the time where they're like, oh, hey, you know what? I'm doing a special for people in the ministry. I'm doing this, that, and the other. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Right. But the person who comes to you that is, sincere and says, hey, listen, this is it. What do you think about this? Or, ask for the workout.
Sure.
Yeah, like that's one of those things
Indeed.
where if you're not pitching anything other than like, hey, I'm willing to walk through this with you, it's just like anything else.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I've loved about some of the people that we've gotten to do some work with is that they're willing to, they may be personal trainers, they may be coaches or whatever, that they're willing to just say, hey, listen, you're important to me. And because of that, like, I'm willing to give you this time.
Yeah.
And especially knowing like what they would charge other folks.
No, for sure.
Right. That they're like, no, I'm going to give you this time because I want to see you get better and you get healthy. And if you're in one of those positions that, yeah, you know what, maybe you are concerned for your pastor, your youth minister, or a family member, then offering that time is an important thing. The other thing is knowing whether or not that ask can come from you.
Yeah.
Is a big deal too.
Yeah, be
right?
discerning. Yeah.
Because it may be that, you are one of the last people that, they want to hear that from, that somebody needs to hear that message from.
Right.
And that's a challenging thing because, you do love and care for them, but it's the thing we run into all the time with parents in the youth group, right? Is that mom and dad can tell them something 100 times.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But the youth parent that's not their parent can tell them one time, and they're like, "Oh, I had this great epiphany." It's like, whatever, man, And
Right.
or the same thing, like as the youth pastor, you can say it over and over again, and then one of the other students says it too, and it's like, "Oh, I've had this thing." That there are just certain people and certain voices that it's difficult to receive that messaging from.
Indeed.
And so knowing whether or not you're the person that can give that to it. And if you are a minister that's out there or you're a church leader that's out there, maybe you're just a person who stumbled across this podcast and you're listening to it because you thought it was interesting that pastors are talking about fitness stuff, that like taking care of yourself is a godly thing. Right? I know people look at that verse and they're like, oh, training of the body is of some benefit. But that's not diminishing the training of the body.
Right.
It's encouraging the other. Paul uses races oftentimes in his analogies. He talks about athletes over and over again. And when we think of Paul, there's a lot of times where we think of him as this studious guy with glasses. Maybe he's wearing a little bit of headgear whenever he's writing all these letters to all the dear the Philippians, right? Like that's not real. Like the dude was a tent maker.
Sure.
Right? There was no reality in which he did not have to be, at the very least, a pretty strong guy to be stretching and skins and all those things.
Yeah.
If he's not the one that's having to, take the hides off the animals to begin with. Right. So he knows and understands what it would mean and what it took for his profession to be in shape in order to be able to do it. Especially as a guy who's like, whenever I came to you, I didn't ask for anything from you. I made tents in order that I wouldn't put a burden on you in the church whenever I got started. What I really need is for you to help support this other thing, whatever.
Right.
So those aren't things that are diminished. They're things that he understands and probably things that he participated in. And so it's important that we get that too, because it's really, really, really easy in the work of ministry to neglect our health.
Indeed.
And to say that we don't have time for it because, if I go to the gym today, then, then that's an hour that I'm not able to minister to somebody. Or if I go to what are people going to think if I took an hour to go to the gym? That's one of the ones that I really struggle with, man.
Yeah.
Is that, if I'm there, right, if I took my lunch hour to go slip in a 30-minute workout, what are people going to say? Like, what are we paying this guy for? Is he, spending all his time? Are we paying him to work out, or is he supposed to be in the office doing those kinds of things? Like we do have to, in some regard, realize that one, the gym can be a mission field and all of that stuff, but also like reclaiming that time that, hey, you know what? We do have to do things to take care of ourselves if we want to continue to be effective, not just in ministry roles, but for our families.
That's right.
And that's a big thing for me as a guy. Like, I didn't start having kids until 38.
Right.
Matter of fact, I've never had kids. My wife didn't start having kids until I was like 38, right? So, just about 37, I think is when we had our first one. Yeah. So it's one of those deals where I'm already going to be an older dad. Mm-hmm. My motivation for getting in shape, and this is part of the other thing too, is figuring out what that motivation is. Right. My motivation for staying in shape is I need to be able to get down and to play with my boys. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, the example that I'm setting as a pastor has a lot to do with how I steward my family, and how I treat my wife and my children. And if I can't play with my kids, or if I haven't had an opportunity to just maybe get out some of that energy, right, then maybe my patience is a little shorter than it needs to be.
That's right.
Right? Maybe it's harder for me to play with the kids, and so it's easier for me to sit on the couch. And then, sort of that, guilt about not being able to do some stuff with the kids starts to set in, man. All of those things play a factor, and the way that we combat it is by, you don't have to get psycho with it,
right?
But just pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah. So, a couple things crossed my mind. Let me be me for a minute. It's some folks that need to grow up, right? Like chill out. He's at the gym, right? He's going to be at the church till 9:00 while you're at home trying to decide whether or not you even going to get involved, right?
Yeah, or what Netflix is.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So stop tripping, like chill out a little bit, right? The other side of it is, man, Lucas and I, we work out at the same gym. Mm-hmm. How many people do we talk to?
Dude.
Listen, some of them are members. Some of them are people who are former members. Some of them are folks that don't know us from anybody, but they find out we're a pastor. And then next thing you know, they're coming to raise some kind of question.
Or need prayer for something.
Exactly.
Or got something going on in their life where they need somebody to listen to them and to give them some advice.
Exactly. Yeah. Folks find out you're working out, and they start working out. Mm-hmm. People in the church, and they find, our leadership is influencing them in other areas of their life.
Right.
And so it is a mission field. But more importantly, we want to be in the best physical health possible to be good in our families and to be good at what we're doing in the church. Because, me coming back, from our little vacation / sabbatical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. My goal the first Sunday was I just need to make it through it.
Yeah.
Because we have 2 services. I have to preach both services. And it does have a cardio effect on you.
I saw something a few years ago that said preaching a 25 to 35-minute sermon is the same amount of calorie burn as playing 9 innings of baseball.
Oh, wow. Well,
right? Now, people can argue whether or not baseball players are real athletes. I'm not here to do that.
Yeah.
Though Mr. Berger on the Texas Rangers might argue with me.
Yeah.
Might be able to put up an argument.
Yeah.
But that, just the fact that the calorie burn's similar, right? That whatever you're doing, you're up there, you're burning calories, you are exerting a lot, because it's not just the physical. There's also a mental component. There's an emotional component. And any time that you're doing those things, that elevates your heart rate and causes more exhaustion.
Yeah. So if you're kind of toying with the idea of incorporating strength resistance training or cardio training or any, going for more walks, do it. Do it. It's going to help. It'll help you preaching for sure. But more importantly, it'll help you overall and extend your longevity. Whatever amount of time the Lord has for you here and in your ministry, you want it to be of the best quality possible.
100%. So take this stuff seriously. I know that and like Chris said earlier, there's a lot of information out there, and it's easy to get caught up in all of the info, but remember, start somewhere. Mm-hmm. Find something that's going to be easy for you to stick with. I know in the beginning after my ACL operation, prior to it, when I was getting ready to start working out again after several years off, I made myself do 30 minutes of cardio every day. Mm-hmm. And so I would go into the gym and I would do 30 minutes of cardio. I really wanted to do weights, but I said, no, if I can't stick to just doing 30 minutes of cardio every day for 8 weeks, or at least Monday through Friday for 8 weeks, I'm not going to get to touch a weight. And so setting that goal for myself when I finally did, give myself permission to get back into the weight room and to do that, man, I was so excited about it,
Yeah.
And doing those kind of things, setting small attainable goals really helps with getting into it. Do something that's sustainable. Don't hop back into it and get yourself injured.
That's right.
Going into it, but also find ways to work it into your schedule. There are ways to do it. When we were doing 75 hard last year, I made sure that all of my phone calls that I had to have throughout the day, that I would schedule as many of them as possible during the 45-minute outdoor workout that I had to have. So while I'm on this 45 minutes, I'll walk most days. While I'm on that 45-minute walk, man, I got my headphones in, and that's when I'm making my phone calls.
Right.
I don't have to be super speedy, right? I'm not trying to, win any Olympic medals and race walking. I'm going 2.5 mile an hour pace. It's a nice leisurely walk. And that's when I'm having these conversations. So I'm doing work, and I'm getting exercise at the same time.
That's right.
There's really easy ways to incorporate it. Don't overcomplicate it, but you do need to get started doing something for your own health and, for your ability to minister to the folks around you.
That's right.
Man, you got any closing thoughts on this before we wrap it up for this episode?
No, I think you said it. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do all you can. Do your best. Right.
Yep. And shake the haters off.
Shake them off.
Because it really, there are going to be people who will tell you that you're not going to stick with it, that you're not going to do this, that, and the other. But when you get serious about your faith, there are people who say the same things. We didn't let us stop then. Getting serious about our health is the next step in making sure that we're able to do the things that we need to do for a prolonged period of time. Well, if there are other topics that you want us to cover, maybe a resource you want us to take a look at, you can send us an email at thechurchresource@gmail.com. That's thechurchresource@gmail.com. We'd be happy to cover it.
Yep.
And until next week, you guys have good give, and we'll see you.
Holla.